righty, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. August 14th, believe it or not. I'm not quite sure how we are already into the middle of August, and I'm kind of sad because that means summer is almost coming to an end. And if you know Utah weather at all, we have long winters. And so me coming from Hawaii, I love me some summer and I love it to last as long as it possibly can. So anyways, but we are just so excited to be here with all of you today. I am Melanie Silva and I am the Senior Manager over Leadership Programs, which is all the programs and all the clubs and all the fun things. And I've been here, oh gosh, at doTERRA, it seems like for all of eternity, for almost 11 years now. And most of that time has been with leadership programs. And so leadership programs definitely has my heart. I love just being a part of all of your journeys in leadership programs and senior growth and senior success, and just being a part of making that difference in the world. So thank you all for joining us here. This is our first mentor call of the season, and we have some exciting things in store for all of you. And I also have here with me this morning my amazing project manager, Amy Fernandez, who is my co-host and helping me do all the things on this call to make it go as smoothly as possible. And so, and then we like to start off the call with some fun recognition. And so we are going to start off actually with recognizing some of you all. And so the people that we are recognizing this morning is the mentors of the first approved applicants for our Diamond Club season. And so let's give a shout out to Jody Hoffman from Central, Marie Cottom from the Mountain Region, Michelle Weaver from Northeast, and we have Colleen Cotterill from Mountain. From our NAC region, we have Yun Wei. From Northeast, we have Stephanie Martin. From Canada, which Amy just got back from vacation from Canada, we have Tyler Herb. And from Pacific, Tina Wong. So congrats to all of you. And also, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you mentors, period, because, and I know for those of you who have heard me speak, I've said this many, many of times, and that is we could not do these programs without your support. And so we just truly appreciate that partnership that we have with all of you. We value that partnership, and we appreciate all the time and efforts that you put into to your teams and helping them through our leadership program. So thank you to all of our mentors. Hey, and then we get to hear from the amazing Blue Diamond leader, who is a top mentor, US Founder 2.0. She's not only been a Diamond Club graduate and a Diamond Club winner and a top mentor in Diamond Club and a mentor winner in Diamond Club. She is just a phenomenal speaker. For those of you who have heard Amy speak, I know you will agree, but she's a phenomenal speaker. She just has so much knowledge and she's just a great businesswoman. And we just really appreciate her here at Leadership Programs and just doTERRA in general. We love Amy Fullmer and we appreciate her taking the time here to kind of share some of her wisdom and her knowledge with all of us here today. And so we're going to have Amy Fullmer take it away. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here with all of you and feel very honored to be amongst such incredible leaders that are on this call. I have learned a lot from many of you that are here. So I wanted to start off by just briefly sharing, putting in a plug for convention. If you have leaders or even customers, people on your team that are not coming yet, it is such a key piece of people coming and seeing the vision. And if you haven't been intentional in that area or helped your Diamond Club participants be intentional in that area, it's where you can get the most bang for your buck. And I just want to share briefly. So Natalie Goddard is my um, upline directly. She's my direct business partner. And um, I just am amazed at her example of commitment to getting people to convention. I want to share this example because it really inspired me and helped me to like take it so seriously. And we have a lot of people who come locally from our team. I think last year at convention, we had at least 100, I think we had like 110 people at convention. And many of those were from out of state and flew in. So I know it's easier that I have a lot of team in Utah, but anyway, but she, in their first couple of years in doTERRA, they actually took out a second mortgage on their house to have money to invest to help people get to convention. Like that's how high of a priority it was to them. And they realized it was so crucial. And I'm not recommending everybody does that. But what I'm telling you is like, that is commitment. That is like, I am all in. I am making the investment because I know if people can come and see and feel, you just cannot duplicate that experience. We love on our team the book Go Pro. And I highly encourage all of my leaders and anybody wanting to do this business to read it. But that is one of the key things, right? It's like it's non-negotiable. So I just want to put in a plug for that and emphasize how key that is. But my topic today that I wanted to speak and share on is how to really focus with your Diamond Club participants on helping them learn the skill set of getting referrals, because it is a skill. It's not a magical talent. It's not something that people are naturally born with knowing how to do. It's just simply learning how to do it. And if you can help your people that you're mentoring in Diamond Club and help the people on their teams learn this skill set, it just changes everything. Because when you are only working in your warm market, and just continually struggling to get out of that, it can be really hard. And I love that if you can learn the skill of getting referrals, it just opens up so much more in your business and it makes it so much easier to get out of your warm market, right? I think I've been a Diamond Club mentor many times and participated in it twice. And I just think one of the hardest parts for people that I've seen is just feeling like, okay, we're on month 2 or month 3, and how are we going to get our 14 enrollments, on our team, especially if they don't have a big team yet. And so a lot of people, like it's them and 1 or 2 leaders, right, that are like working towards that. It's a big task for a lot of people. So it's just really crucial to focus in here. It's part of this mindset I love that Lindsay Norman, one of my leaders, always talks about. Instead of focusing on addition, how can we focus on multiplication, right? And getting referrals and teaching your team members to know how to do that and how to tap into other people's warm markets is one of the key ways that we can get more into multiplication and out of duplication, right? Or out of addition. So I want to talk about a couple different ways that I coach my team that I've seen work really well. But of course, the first thing is just being intentional about it, right? Like getting clear, having those consistent conversations, practicing with them so they feel confident in the skill set is a great way to help them in that. And there's a couple different ways that I have found work really well to do it, depending on the setting, right? So I'm going to talk about different settings and ways that your participants might be, growing their business and how in those settings can they effectively get referrals. So the first one I want to talk about is one-on-ones, because for me, I see that on my team, that's one of the biggest ways that it's a very easy skill set. It doesn't take a lot of confidence to stand in front of a big group of people, right? It's an easy way that a lot of people on my team grow. And it meets people right where they're at, right? They don't have to be available the night of the Zoom class or the in-person class. And so at those one-on-ones, I've actually had classes booked from one-on-ones, and I've had people give referrals just by simply at the end of the one-on-one asking a couple key questions. So here they are, write them down. And again, just practice these with your people so that they're remembering. I would bet a lot of your participants are going to be doing one-on-ones. And this is like the most important part of it. because the close is great. It's important that they know how to enroll, but if the enrollment ends there, they haven't gained very much, right? They haven't made a very big impact, but if they can learn to do this and get referrals from it and open up the warm market of the person they're working with, it's really huge. So I just like to say and teach them to kind of look. So I don't know how you guys do this, but when we do a one-on-one, we always have them write down all their health concerns of them and everybody in their household, right? So you look at that list at the very end. They've made their kit recommendation. They've chosen what kit they're going to get. They're enrolling, right? So it's after this whole process. At the very end, I just say, have them look at the list and say, who else do you know that is dealing with some of these health issues in their family or in their household? And the reason why I like to have them ask that question is it gets people's brains like something actual to think about. It's not so broad that they're like, I don't know, but it makes them start thinking like, oh, and mention some of the things. Who else do you know that's dealing with allergies or anxiety in their family or digestive issues, trouble sleeping? Just mention a couple of the things that are on their list. Because it gets them thinking of people. And almost, I think, really universally every single time that I've done this, and as I coach people to do it, they will think of people. They'll think of a couple people that have some of those issues. And I'll just say, awesome. What would you think of, either meeting with us and I can do the same thing with them and go over their health issues and help make some recommendations? Or, you're thinking of a few different people. What would you think of getting them together and I can just teach them all at one time? What would be easier? And then I'll let them choose whether they want to go the route of like saying, hey, let's set up a time where we can meet together just with them, right? Or if they're like, oh, you know what, I'll host a Zoom or I'll host something in my house so they can just come at one time. And I've had both happen. I've had people say, I think it'd be easier just to do a class and we can get them all at once. Great. Okay. And then giving 2 yes options. That's a really important sales skill, I feel like, because it makes it really easy for people to take the next step, right? So saying, great, I've got Tuesday at 7 or Saturday at 10 a.m. Will either of those work for you? Same thing if it's a one-on-one. If they want to set up the one-on-one, you could say, well, I've got this availability and this availability, just setting a specific time and saying, check with your friend, let them know how excited you are about what you can, and then I'll kind of coach them how to talk to their friend. Or if they book a class or a workshop on Zoom or at home, then we're picking a time that they can do that. And then I'm helping them know how to invite people to that event. So that's the first on a one-on-one. Just teach them how to ask that question of who do you know that is also dealing with some of these things. And then they think of the people, and then you're going to ask them, what would you think of, meeting with me and them, and we can do the same thing here so they feel comfortable, or host, having something in your home or on Zoom. So that's the first one. The second one is in a class setting. If it's on Zoom, you guys, I'm guessing everybody on this call uses this, but just in case not, you never know. We always do a survey at the end where there's a link and we do a giveaway, and we actually have them fill out the survey right then. We've had really great success with Zoom classes, and a lot of leaders on my team are consistently enrolling from Zoom classes, and especially from the recordings. We utilize both the live and the recording. But at the end of every Zoom, we always just post the link for the survey, and we say, okay, click on it right now. It just takes a couple minutes. And then once everybody's filled it out, then we'll pick from that for the giveaway winner. So it's not something that they get to later. It's not something they're going to forget about. It's something that they fill out right then on the class at the end. And that Zoom, the survey just asks them, it has them kind of be able to talk about, it asks them like a multiple choice, their health concerns, so they can like select, so that when you do the follow-up, it asks them about a time the next day or two, like for following up and to meet with them. Basically, our intention is to close them, right? And then it asks them, it says, you probably thought of a few people that would really benefit from learning about this. Are you open? And I love that verbiage. Are you open to, sharing this on a similar Zoom class with your friends and family, or doing something in your home or on Telegram, offering a few options of how they could do it, or, meeting with a couple of your friends or family one-on-one. So then we're finding out from that survey. Let me see if I did not create it. It's one of the leaders on my team. So let me ask her just to honor her work. But where would be a good place, you ladies in the leadership programs, like if she's good with us sharing that, where would be a good place to share it that everybody could?
On our Facebook, on the Diamond Club Facebook page, or you can also send it to us and we
Okay.
can share it as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So I will ask her and I think she'll most likely be great with that. So, anyway, so that's the next way. And then in a class we do, and we've taught this a lot. So I apologize if this is repetitive for some of you. But it's really, really important. We do a ton of in-person events still on our team and we have good success with them. Um, a lot more of like, we do a lot of customer appreciation and bring a friend kind of events, and we'll get enrollments from that, as well as like spa events, just events where it's like a different reason other than just come and learn about essential oils. We find like different ways of kind of getting people's interest of what we found is really working well for classes. Aside from when we launch people, when someone launches, they just do normal, healthy solutions launch classes, and we get those work great, and we get bookings off of those. But then I found once people are transitioning, kind of putting a little more of a fun spin on it helps us to get better turnout. So, but in a live event setting, we always like to end with, on their enrollment form. And in fact, I will share let me share this right now in the chat. I always share this with everybody, and there's so many good resources from it. I kind of share it every time I speak, but there's just a lot of the leaders on my team have said that they are good with these resources being shared. But these are some of the key things that on our team, these are resources that have been really impactful. But on the enrollment form, it has all their help needs, but it has a spot at the bottom. I'm going to put it in the chat right now so you guys can just have this folder with everything in it. There is a survey in that one, but it's not the same one that we use at the end of Zoom. The survey in that one is what we use for setting up a one-on-one. It's a really great one for people if they don't think that they're the kind of person who would be open to just saying, hey, let me invite you to this event, if that might not be a good approach for them. The survey is a really easy approach because they could say, hey, I'm starting in a health and wellness business. I love natural holistic things. I have a quick survey. It's like just a few minutes. Would you be willing to take it? It's just another avenue of how people can reach out and connect with different people and get them coming into their like funnel, right, of people to potentially enroll down the road. So I'm going to share that in the chat if I can. I'm not seeing the chat. Let me try and see if I'm doing something wrong here. Okay, maybe I will. Do you know why, Melanie, I can't see oh, there it is. Okay, it's coming up. Sorry. I don't know what was going on with my phone. Okay, so I'm just putting in the chat right now this folder. I shared it at leadership when I spoke, but there's just lots of resources in there. But the enrollment form that I spoke of is on there. And at the bottom right, sorry, that was a long way back to this. The bottom right has a little spot that says notes. And we use that for this activity at the end of any workshop that we ever do where people are potentially enrolling. And we'll say, okay, it's after we've already, done the class. It's before we close them. This is kind of the timing of when we found it works really well. And there's a strategic reason of why we don't have these questions written at the bottom, because we don't want people deciding and seeing the questions before they hear everything in the class, right? And also the reason why it's so important that it's on the enrollment form is when you're doing a class, we used to do this on note cards. And when you have more than like 2 people at a class, we had a lot of classes. We've done a ton of classes. Like still, we have tons of classes with 6 people, 10 people. Like we're getting a lot of people to in-person classes that we're doing. And so maybe you're there with another advocate and it was really hard to match up like their card with the answers with their enrollment form. Like it just added another layer of like making it challenging to like funnel people into the right things, right? So now it's really important that that's on their enrollment form. And then at the bottom right-hand corner, we just have them at the end after we've usually done a giveaway, and we'll say, okay, write the numbers 1, 2, and 3 on the bottom right-hand, under the notes spot, just right underneath each other. And then we just ask them 3 questions. And these are from Bailey King. I did the same thing in my previous company. I would ask them these same questions for years in the company I did before as well. But just do it on the form, so instead of separately. And we'll just ask them, number 1, are you open to getting these products in your home at a discount? Everybody says yes. Occasionally people say no or maybe, and they usually enroll too. But it's just helpful because occasionally there are people that are like, no, I'm totally not interested. Like 1 in 100 people. But anyway, so that's helpful. Number 2, and this is what we say here, is you probably thought of a few people that really would benefit from learning about this. If you are open to having them in your home or doing something online or from your phone where you can share this information with them. We're going to send you home with a free book, which is a $40 value. You guys, that host incentive of the book has been huge for our team. And we just always watch for the sales. So we get them for like $5 or $10, but they are a $40 retail value. So we'll say it's a $40 value. We've already played a game with the book at the beginning of the class. This is another key piece that has worked really well for our team. And I'll talk about that in a minute once I finish the questions. So we say, you'll get to go home or you'll get the book at your class. We actually give them the book at their class. So you'll get this book for free. Plus you'll get to go home with some really fun goodies tonight. Your keychain, which you can only get from hosting a workshop. And we only put 3 oils in that, 3 or 4 oils, and then they can get more at their workshop. So it's affordable, it's sustainable for our team members to do. And we've already during the class talked about, we've kind of taught from the keychain. So it really creates desire for that. And we will say it's the only way you can get it is, if you want to have something in your home or on Zoom or, from your phone. And then number 3 is if you are open to learning more about earning any extra income with doTERRA or getting your products paid for, and we tell them no, maybe, or yes as their options. And they just write no, maybe, yes next to number 1, next to number 2, and next to number 3. So that has worked really well. I know Michelle Weaver taught a great event on doing the Telegram classes. We're just starting that on our team. But they have also had the same success with utilizing an essential oil book, Oil Magic, or Essential Life, Oils Made Simple, whatever one you can get that's affordable is the bottom line. They have also seen the same thing with that book is a really enticing thing for people to say, oh, I will have a workshop or I'll do a Telegram class or a Zoom class. So we have people that say yes consistently. I would say nearly every class I've ever taught, someone has booked a class. And if you've made the class engaging and fun and insightful, and then ask these questions at the end, it works really well. But let me go back into the game we played at the beginning, because it is a key piece of creating that desire for the book. And it's really fun. We just play, it's kind of like, I don't know, like a scripture chase. Like, it's like you're having them look up something. So we have the books, we have a book for everybody at the very beginning of the class. You've kind of introduced, shared your story a little bit. And then you start off with a game and we'll just say, okay, we're going to play a quick game. It's really fun. And we give tickets away when we do workshops, like a class kind of a setting. And we do a little drawing for like something small. It might be like a spa bar, like, or just something that's like $7 or $8 that we'll do. Anyway, so we'll do a giveaway at the end. So we'll say, you'll get a ticket for winning. And we'll say, okay, the first person who can look up and find the solution for, and you be intentional about whatever health problem you say. And it's going to be one you're going to want to share a story about. So if they want to share a story about nosebleeds, and they would say, who's the first person to find nosebleeds and tell me what oils it says for it. And then, or it might be, you can pick whatever you want, right? Just whatever thing that you're strategically wanting to share a story about. And then, everybody was looking in the book, and what it does, it gets them feeling confident, like, oh, this is easy. Like, wow, look, everything's in here. Like, it's just a fun way that gets people excited about the book and thinking, wow, I need this, and then we'll do one more, and we'll have like one of the guests, or you can tell them to pick it as well. So, okay, we'll do one more. And then you'll call something out, headaches or, ear infection or whatever you want it to be. Or you could have one of the guests throw something out. So, and then they look up one more. So we just do it twice. It just takes a couple minutes, but it really helps create desire and has helped increase bookings consistently at classes, because people are, being like, oh my goodness, that was really easy and I can do that, So anyway, so they asked me to do 15 minutes and I think I went a little bit long. So I apologize, but I hope that gives you guys some good things to coach your teams on, to work on, to be intentional around. What you focus on grows. And I cannot overemphasize how crucial it is to help your Diamond Club participants learn this skill set and practice and get confident and dialed in. And I would say, the referrals, not just for doing classes, but also for the business, right? And just asking about that third question is key. But just make sure at every event and anything they're doing in their business, there's always that focus of, okay, I'm going to get enrollments. I want to get referrals, bookings, or others. And then I'm looking for builders, and just making sure that they're doing things at every event. We also teach them, just last thing I'll say, on the line of referrals for builders or getting, because a builder is the very best way to get outside to warm market, right? Because then you're really opened up into their whole warm market. And so we will teach every event we do, whether it's on Zoom or it's in person, or even if it's a one-on-one, we coach our leaders to do like a 30-second gratitude share at the end about the doTERRA business. And it's very genuine. I like Elise's memorized script, but I'm not a memorized script kind of a girl. I like to teach more like principles that people can just remember the principle, and it's a little easier and less overwhelming, I feel like. And I feel like this has worked really well for our team because we have hundreds of leaders and builders on our team. And I've been around for like 4.5 years. So it's worked really well. We're constantly launching new people. And I live in Utah, you guys, like the most saturated place. The last thing I would say is, so the 30-second gratitude share, I just teach my team to touch on 5 different things to say gratitude about. And because different things are going to speak to different people, and they don't know what they don't know. So if they don't know how amazing the doTERRA business is, why would they be interested in it, right? Unless we share it with them. And I love that this is quick and easy and impactful. So I just teach them to say something around like the community and the friends, something around like making an impact and mission and purpose, something around like travel and free trips. And again, if they're not doing it at that level, they don't have to do that one. But even if they're working towards earning a trip, I would say I worked full time before I had kids. I never got a free trip. And I've been on like probably 20 free trips, like it's been so beautiful for our marriage. So that gives you a feel of like what it sounds like. Something around the time freedom. I would say, I love that I get to work when it's convenient for me and my family. On my own time frame. Like that's been such a gift to me as a mom with 5 kids, something like that. And then something about the income. And even if they're earning just a little bit, just like it's been such a gift to be able to have our car payment paid for. I've only done this, for 2 months, and we're, just sharing something specific around the income. So those 5 things. And I always start with, I never would have imagined myself doing something like this, because it's true. And I think almost everybody feels like that. And it really relates to people in the audience thinking, oh, that's how I feel. Maybe this could open up. Maybe this is something I could do. So I hope that helps. But that's worked really well for our team. And that, of course, opens up a lot more people when you ask that question at the end about earning any extra income with doTERRA. More people are willing to say like maybe or yes there. So I hope that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. I love your energy. I'm like ready to get the day going. Although I've been here for a couple hours, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get some work done. So I love your energy. I love that you make everything not just sound fun, but you make it simple and doable, and so that anyone's able to take these tools and go out there and run with it. And thank you so much for being generous and sharing, not just of the wisdom that you just share, but also sharing your folder with your tools in there. And so that was very gracious of you, and we thank you so much. And again, I know you have a busy schedule, and so we here at Leadership Programs are just grateful for the time that you've been able to bless us all with. And I say us all, meaning our team as well, because we put on these calls to provide knowledge and tools and support and just tips for all of you, but we learn just as much as well. And so thank you, because we've learned so much from you, Amy, and you have been, again, a tremendous support with Leadership Programs and always plugging your teams in there. And so we've really valued that partnership, and we look forward to continue to working with you and your team. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I've got to hop off for a leader meeting that I have with my team, but thank you for having me, you guys.
Thank you. All right, and I was so excited to introduce Miss Amy Fullmer that I forgot our call agenda. And so obviously we've gone through half of it already, but we just have a couple more things to touch on, and then we will be done. But I am going to have Amy Fernandez now share a couple of things with you all as well. So take it away.
I gotta unmute myself, you guys. Okay. Again, we just wanted to kind of keep this short and sweet. And yes, thank you to Amy and for all the wisdom she shared and her resources. That was extremely generous, and we're so grateful for her. So just a few things for you guys as mentors to keep in mind with your participants. We will be rolling out a Diamond Club training course here, where our participants will be automatically enrolled into the program once it becomes available, we will email that to them, and then they can start this course. We want this to roll out before the season starts because we know things start to get really busy. So just let your participants know that a training course will be coming out. It will go over kind of like the technical logistics side of things on the dashboard itself, all about the new connections and the definition of that, and just kind of like just the basic tools and resources that they have at their fingertips. Okay, so just keep that in mind for them. Also, just important resources for you guys as mentors. So as mentors, you also have access to the Diamond Club dashboard yourself. It will look a little bit different than the participant, but it will basically show your name. It will show everybody underneath who you are mentoring, and you can click on them to see the progress and how they're doing during the Diamond Club season. So it's diamondclub.doterra.com. That is the website, and you just log in with your doTERRA ID and you're good to go. Also, you can get access to our team app, which we are currently working on to request as we transition administrators from the change. So once that happens, we'll be able to accept you onto the team app if you aren't already on there. And we'll be putting updates on there. That's just one avenue that you can get updates for the season along with email. And then our next resource is our Facebook page. We want our mentors to be on here because we want you to shout out and recognize your participants throughout the Diamond Club journey. This is a really great place to do so. So please request to be in the Diamond Club Facebook page. We really want to have you there. We also have the Diamond Club mentor guide for you guys. So if you're like, you know what, I don't really know how to mentor, or hey, you know, I kind of got a footing, but maybe need a couple of ideas, we do have that on the DMK. And you can just type in Diamond Club guide and it will show the mentor guide. It will also say Silver Club, but it's for both. So that's the one you'll want to use. And then we also have our leadership programs YouTube page. This is where we post our calls. We do share it also on our Facebook page, but for those who may not have Facebook, they can just directly go to YouTube. They don't even need an account. They can just type in leadership programs YouTube. That's the link right there on how to access the YouTube. And this is where we put our calls. So direct them to that to watch it as well, okay? Okay, just a simple, you know, who to contact when it comes to certain things. So you know, to direct your Diamond Club participants to who they should be contacting for what issues. So when it comes to processes and enrollments, they can contact member services, or if they have an account manager, they can reach out to their account manager too. So also questions about strategy and how to maximize their enrollments, they can reach out to you. That's your role as the mentor, along with their account manager. And we really do want you to be a part of those strategy calls, because sometimes when it comes to placements, it's good to have you there to give the idea, and then the account manager to be there, go, yeah, that will work, or you know what, that's not going to quite work because, you know, this, that, or whatever in logistics wise. So it's good to have those three-way calls. So be on those calls with your participants and account manager when they have that. And then when they have questions, or you have questions about the promo code, missing an enrollment, errors, anything to have to do with the Diamond Club, contact me, Rebecca. We are your point of contact, okay? And I have a little breakdown on who is over what. So this kind of shows the map of all the regions. So I am over Central, Northeast, Southeast, and Canada.
Our team does look very different,
Yeah,
from the past and with the rift and changes. And so
yes.
basically Rebecca and Amy are both taking on half of the country.
Region, yeah. Half of North America. So I am taking one half of the regions, and Rebecca's taking the other half of the regions. Now, we do have to apologize in advance that when it comes to the languages, neither Rebecca or I speak or Melanie speak French or Spanish, or Chinese. So we highly encourage that you reach out to your account managers when you need to speak to somebody in person, and they can come to us asking the questions because they'll ask us in English. But if you need to if you can't get a hold of somebody, you can just directly email diamondclub@doterra.com, and we can help you that way because we have some resources to help us in that regard. But this is just kind of your point of contact for your Diamond Club. So, and with that, we will end it on that note with just to save the date, okay, for the next call. And I'm going to just turn the time over to Melanie so she can just kind of touch on that for what to expect for the next call, because we only have one call. So go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, so I actually have a couple of things I want to touch on, and I'm saving the most exciting thing for last. And you all are going to be the very first to hear about this. So before all of the excitement at the end, yes, save the date. So our next call will be with Laura Jacobs, and that'll be on August 20th at 10 a.m. And so we're super excited to hear from Laura. You guys all know Laura's been around for a long time, and she also just has so much wisdom and knowledge. And so we're looking forward to that call. And then we've had a lot of questions about the Diamond Club incentives. We are still waiting to hear back. And so we're hoping to get that finalized by the end of the week. So we'll know exactly what those products are. And then the next thing, and the most exciting thing that you are going to hear about first, is that we have enhanced our sourcing trip. By popular request, our top 20, let's have a drum roll, our top 20 graduates for this season will get an option to go to Hawaii on a sourcing trip. So that's super exciting. We went to Hawaii in 2023. Granted, we were catching up from 2020 when we had this thing called COVID that hit us, and then we couldn't go to Hawaii. So we got to go in 2023, and I am from the islands, and I will tell you that was the best experience I've ever had in my own home. And so it was definitely an amazing, a lot of people said it was their best doTERRA experience ever. But I have more exciting news. So not only is it that our top 20 graduates able to earn the Hawaii sourcing trip, but our top 3 mentors, so you all can also earn the option to go to Hawaii on a sourcing trip next year. And so again, you're hearing it first. I'm super excited about this because, again, we've been having a lot of people request for us to bring Hawaii back, and I'm just excited to go back home and enjoy the warm weather and the ocean and all the delicious food. And so anyways, we are so looking forward to that. And our participants have not heard about this yet. So if you want to share with them, by all means, but we will also be sharing on our next call with them as well, as we are super excited for this opportunity that we've been working on for a while now. So anyways, and so that is it for this call. We look forward to the next call next week, again with Laura Jacobs. If you guys have any questions or anything in the meantime, please do not hesitate to reach out. This call has been recorded, and we will share that recording on the Facebook page, the Diamond Club Facebook page as well. And it looks like we have a couple questions before we end.
A date for the Hawaii trip.
We don't have the dates yet. We just got the yes that we can go. So no dates have been finalized for Hawaii or Oregon or Birch, because Oregon and Birch will also be happening. So no dates have been finalized or have even really, anyways. Events is really busy right now trying to get ready for convention. And so we probably will not have any dates until after convention, but just know Hawaii is happening sometime next year. So Great question. Okay, any other questions before
I
we?
did see someone raise their hand, but then they put their hand
Okay.
down. So it might that you may have answered.
All righty. Well, I hope you guys have a fabulous Wednesday. We will see you on our next call, and let us know.
Tuesday, Laura Jacobs.
All righty. Thanks, guys. Bye.
I am so excited for them to go because I know how much they have been dying to go on it, and they're just gonna be like, I'm working towards that Hawaii trip, and I'm like, I know you are.